Welcome to the Style and Strategy Podcast, where personal brand meets leadership and style. I'm Sonya, a personal brand and style coach who's been exactly where you are, juggling career and business success, personal growth, and finding a style that truly fits. After decades in corporate leadership, I've learned that showing up isn't just about what you do. It's about how you align who you are and how the world sees you. This season, I'm bringing you practical strategies, bold insights, and honest conversations to help you amplify your presence, unlock your next level, and lead with clarity and confidence. Let's dive in. Welcome to another episode of the Style and Strategy Podcast. I am excited today to bring another interview to you in another area that I think really supplements from a leadership presence perspective. Again, more so focused on our internals. And you know that that's something I'm really passionate about. So today I am actually interviewing with Jolee Mougey, who spent decades in the world of science before discovering the power of intuition. So with a master's in public health and years of medical research under her belt, she now works as a Reiki master and psychic, helping people access the inner wisdom they've been overlooking. So what I love about Jolee and many of the guests that I bring to you, I've either worked with them, I know them personally, and with Jolee, I know that she has an incredibly special gift and way to bring out and really shift anything that's blocking you or stopping you from really reaching where you want to next move to. So I really do hope that you enjoy this episode and let me know. As always, let's get into it. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Style and Strategy Podcast. I'm so excited to have my guest from the States, Jolee, here with me. So we are going to dive into the questions straight away. And the first up really is for listeners who may not be familiar with Reiki or energy healing, how can you maybe describe what it is and how it really works in your practice?
Yeah, I can. I'll do my best because the real answer is that nobody knows how Reiki works. Anyone who tells you, oh yeah, let me explain Reiki to you. We just don't know yet.
Oh my goodness.
And with my background in medical research, that was something that I really had to come to peace with before I moved forward in this career, is knowing that science doesn't know all the answers yet. So can we allow ourselves to use these tools that seem somewhat magical?
Yeah.
Just because we don't know them. We don't understand them yet, but they've been in use for hundreds and thousands of years, or maybe not hundreds and thousands, hundreds or thousands of years. So the idea is that we have an energetic system and Reiki can help massage that out in the same way that massage therapist can massage your physical body. Reiki can massage this energetic system, make sure that it's moving well. And not only is that important because it sounds nice, we want an energetic system that moves well, it actually improves your physical, mental, and emotional health.
Yeah. Amazing. Oh, well, I still love that succinct answer. So given that you can't really explain it, then what drew you to this work from being a medical researcher, technical, all of those elements, high achiever, all of that, and then all of a sudden it's Reiki, energy healing? What really drew you to that?
Well, it wasn't sudden. It wasn't. There was a lot of coming to terms with my new path. So what drew me to it is essentially that I was in a lot of physical and emotional distress. I had frequent migraines. My migraines always included vomiting. I had a chronic cough. I was always injured. I was very fit. I was at the most fit time of my life, but I was constantly battling injuries and shifting my workouts to work around my body that didn't feel good. And I tried everything. Like my whole house was scattered with big earrings because I thought maybe if I just take out my earrings, my headache will go away. Maybe it's gum. Maybe if I quit chewing gum. And what finally happened is I got into therapy.
Yeah.
Like the therapy that I went through was called dialectic behavior therapy, DBT, and it works on emotional regulation. And I discovered in that process that I wasn't doing great. I thought I looked good from the outside, but inside I wasn't doing good. Yeah. And what therapy, it was just the first step, like the gateway step into exploring things that I wouldn't normally think would help my physical health. I didn't think therapy would help my physical health. Yeah. And honestly, it didn't. But what it did is it gave me permission to start exploring other modalities.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. Cognitive therapy led into physical therapy. My physical therapist sent me to an acupuncturist. And it wasn't a mainstream acupuncturist. He also does eat and energy medicine. So he led me into other healers who led me into other healers. And finally, I was just like, this is amazing. I'm feeling so good. And I'm just going to explore, not because I have to, but because I want to. Ooh. And along the way, along my exploration, physical healing started happening in really profound ways. Like I had plantar fasciitis, which is a foot pain that's notoriously hard to get rid of. I had it for 11 years and it went away in one healing session.
Oh my gosh, I've got goosebumps. Wow.
It was amazing. And I thought if going to, a lot of these healers that I went to, they were just working in their homes and they'd been doing it for years. They had local reputations, but they're not legitimized at all by Western medicine standards. And so a lot of these healers that I would go to, there was no risk. There's no needles. There's no incisions. It's just a conversation and sometimes tapping, sometimes some physical, very minor physical things. And I was experiencing healing that Western medicine couldn't serve me.
That's fascinating. And
it was fascinating.
Yeah, no. And so that's how you ended up getting into it, because it was so impactful on your journey. I love that pivot there. How do you actually see this energy or internal alignment influencing how female leaders feel when they're in these high pressure environments and having those high stress sort of situations?
Yeah. So a lot of times I see people being held back by something, right? So maybe you're in the room, it's high powered, but instead of feeling at ease and at peace and empowered and knowing your worth, something's holding you back and you feel like maybe everyone's judging you, or maybe there's some fear there, or maybe there's some emotion that's present that's not joy. You're not living in the moment. You're not like, this is amazing. I am here to contribute. I am right where I'm supposed to be. Instead, there's a piece of you, and you might not even realize it. It might be subconscious that's saying, don't be too loud. Don't let anybody know you're here. Stay very quiet. Stay very small. And that's the piece that I can see during Reiki sessions. And we can really, once you see it, I don't want that.
Yeah.
Once you know it's there, it's so easy to let go of. But the trick is knowing it's there. And I think that's part of the beauty of healing, is that we're not meant to do it alone. We're meant to do it in community. We're meant to point out each other's blind spots and say, hey, do you see this aspect of yourself? So that once you can see it, you can say, oh, I can let that one go.
Yeah, love that.
And it's a layer by layer healing. So unfortunately, it's not like a one and done. Oh, you're solved. You're now fully.
That would be fantastic, wouldn't it? Just wave this magic wand and
oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. But also, I feel like part of being human is discovering ourselves. And maybe we don't want it to happen all at once. Yeah. Maybe it's okay that it's a layer by layer, and we can get comfortable in that new layer, of exposure. Yeah. And once we get really comfortable there, we're ready for the next layer of becoming more and more authentic, more and more ourselves, more and more peaceful and joyful and alive.
Oh, wow. Yeah, you've managed to answer a couple of my questions as you've gone through. But can you go a little bit deeper for me? We've just touched on there that it's not necessarily one and done. So given that I myself have been through the experience, How would you describe like how your side of it and what that process looks like for many who aren't really experienced in it? Because I know personally for me, going in that first time is, oh, okay, I've heard about it. I'm the type of person who wants to give things a go, and I had a fabulous experience. So, yeah, maybe you could share a little bit around that process and what's going through for you on that side so my listeners can better understand.
Sure. So I don't do traditional Reiki. Traditional Reiki is silent and it kind of helps you get into a really meditative state. The Reiki that I do is a combination of Reiki and attractor field therapy and psychic insight. So when I perform Reiki on people, I can feel their feelings. My feelings literally show up in my body, like fear is a nausea in the back of my throat. Guilt feels like I'm holding a hard-boiled egg in my mouth. And there's many more. So when I tap in with Reiki, I can feel the emotion that's kind of there waiting to be seen and validated so that it can start moving. Because a lot of times let's say your boss does something wrong at work and you are angry, but you can't get angry at your boss because you'll get fired. Could be your boss, your mom, your dad. There's all sorts of reasons in our cultures that we can't get angry. So we hold it in and our body holds on to that anger for us. And that's when you hear about like a stuck emotion, that's what we're referring to as an emotion that was never allowed to exist. So it still exists, but you hit it.
Yeah.
And what I can do in Reiki is I can see what emotion is ready to be exposed, ready to be allowed. And I think some people get scared because we're encouraging them to do something that they learned as a child to never do.
Yeah.
And to recognize that it's safe now. It's safe now. You're a grown up. You can choose. You can let that anger out. Maybe you shouldn't still let it out to your boss, but you can let it out in other ways. And you can just admit that it exists.
Yeah.
That sucked and I'm really angry. Sometimes that's enough.
Yeah, I love that. As I said before, from a personal experience perspective, it really was feeling like, especially, 24 hours later, like the weight had really lifted. Yeah, it was just an incredible experience, Jolee, that you were able to create, even in a virtual environment. So when you are working with clients and you might be doing some face to face, you're doing some virtually, how can you, like, what is it about those, I guess it's the psychic energy through those virtual channels that you can still feel? Because I always thought there had to be some sort of present, like closeness, actual real presence.
Yeah. I like to liken it to the fact that you're in Australia, I'm in Oregon, USA.
Yeah.
And how on earth are we talking in real time and seeing each other? And some people like to say, oh, it's radio waves. I'm like, really? So it goes back to that short answer of I don't totally understand my gift either.
Yeah.
But what I try to do is, in essence, now remember, I started in medical research. I started in a career that valued my smart brain and my ability to do math and figure out problems. That was my home. And now my main job when I am in a session is to turn off my brain and let my intuition come through.
Yeah.
So there's some connection to some higher guidance system that I've established, and I don't know how. Yeah. But I do believe everyone has the ability to establish that connection for themselves. And I can speak from experience that it leads to so much more ease in your life when you know that you don't have to figure it all out. You have your own connection to some higher guidance system that you can tap into and be led through your life.
Yeah. Beautiful. And I think that's the thing, right? A lot of the times, especially if you're extremely busy, you've got so much going on, tapping into that intuition piece, or I guess feeling that silence, sinking into yourself, is something that we just kind of park to one side, whereas it's something that's actually going to be quite focused and something you do. So tell me, what's something that you would say is a misunderstood piece in the healing space? And what do you believe maybe instead?
Can I ask you, what's a misconception you have about the healing space? Because I think that I understand the healing space very well, and maybe
Yeah.
I no longer have that like perspective
Yeah.
of
So for me, I think previously, before becoming much more open to that space, I would say, you might bring it up in conversation and people would go, oh, that's a bit woo. Right.
yeah, yeah,
That would be the commentary around it. And there would be a misconception around energy, I think, that
yeah,
understanding what an impact listening to your energy, understanding your energy source. I even refer to it through the human design work as your frequency. And I
yeah,
think it plays a significant role. But previously, like people, depending if you're really operating from the logic mindset, you may
hmm
think, oh, but is that really going to make a difference for me? Is that really
yeah.
going to give me my edge?
Yeah, and I would say that a lot of people think it's the placebo effect.
Mm,
And with Reiki in particular, like traditional Reiki has been studied and has been found to be more effective than placebo. And I would say that as a person who's trained in the design of medical research, I would love to design a study to test out some of these spiritual techniques. I think part of the issue is that spiritual healing happens in layers.
yeah.
So if I was going to from healer to healer looking to cure my plantar fasciitis, I wouldn't get to, right? It's not an if X then Y situation.
Yeah.
It's a reading into your body, your spirit, and seeing what's next for you.
Yeah. So
And
extremely
that's
personal.
where it's extremely personal, and there's a trust component, a trust that just because plantar fasciitis hasn't come up yet doesn't mean it's not going to come up. But can you trust the process? Can you trust the process enough to take the next step and the
Yeah.
next step and the next step?
Yeah.
And to discover, I had no idea that this level of feeling good in my body was possible.
Yeah.
In our cultures, we're told that as you age, I'm 47, as you age, it's going to get worse and worse. Your body's going to feel worse and worse. And what if there's a possibility of another way?
Yeah.
And this is something that really Western medicine has ignored. Western medicine has ignored emotions and how they might be affecting your body, spiritual care and how that might be affecting your body. And so as we start to invite in these other modalities, maybe we'll discover that there is really a whole nother avenue to physical healing
Yeah.
and mental healing and everything, but to feeling better. I mean, that's what we all want, right? We all want to just feel good.
Yeah.
We want to feel good. We want to feel motivated. We want to feel driven and inspired. And the way to let those feelings in is to let the whole gamut of feelings in. Let the shame in, let the anger in, let the fear in, and know that the more we can let those bad emotions exist, the more we can let the good emotions exist too.
Yeah. No, that's beautiful. Yeah, absolutely. So if someone is navigating, say, they're thinking about that next level promotion, or they're looking at reinventing themselves or expanding where they're at, and they feel like they're blocked around that, how do you think that they can really listen into their body, their intuition more deeply?
Yeah, so the first step, it's one of those situations, it's the easiest advice that I'm going to give you, but it's also so hard because we've been so trained to not do it.
Yeah.
Find something that you like. Find out, what do you actually like? Not your husband, not your parents, not your kids. What do you actually want to do with 10 minutes? Do you like to watch TV? Do you like to take a bath? It doesn't have to be lofty. It doesn't have to be like, oh, I'm going to needlepoint, which if it's needlepoint, that's amazing. But let yourself start to play around and discover, what do I actually even like?
Yeah.
And that is literally the first step. And I think that's a lot of what we do in sessions, is just taking away all the layers of protection so that we can start to figure out, who am I? What do I like? What do I want to do with my time? What makes me feel inspired and alive?
It feels like you said, one of those questions that seems really easy, but actually, when we spend a lot of time ensuring all the boxes are ticked, everybody else is sorted, the minimal time that's left, when you go, what would you like? What do you want to do? Sometimes that,
What restaurant do you want to go to?
even as simple as that, there's sometimes that double take of, actually, hang on, I don't even know anymore. And I think because it does evolve over time as well, that because we haven't done those sort of checkpoints and check-ins and ongoing, that we lose that little part.
Yeah, and I think I surrendered a lot of it during motherhood, because during motherhood, I don't care where we eat. I care if everybody is happy. Like, I will literally eat anything if everybody's happy. Yeah. And so starting to rediscover, it's okay. Like, it doesn't always have to be my favorite restaurant, but it's important for me to at least know that I have a preference.
Yeah.
And what it is.
Oh, I love that. What do you wish that more impact-driven women or high-achieving women really understood when it came to balancing ambition and their inner alignment?
I think there's a lot of guilt around ambition, particularly for women. And for that question, I actually felt into my body to see what the answer was rather than checking with my brain. Yeah. And what I felt was guilt. And so I would say that's probably something that collectively, as a society and also like as a sisterhood, we're ready to address. That what if you achieving the highest rank in your company? What if you achieving the highest amount of success in your career, in your family? What if that's the best thing you can do for the whole world? And I think that there's a little bit of competition that we were all, maybe not all of us, some of us were introduced when we were little, that if she has it, I don't get it. And that's holding us back now, because you, when you're succeeding, will hold yourself back in order to keep me comfortable. And what if we stopped doing that? What if we just started cheering each other on and knowing that whenever any woman succeeds, womanhood succeeds? Yeah. That we're all on the same team, and we're not all the quarterback. And honestly, I don't even want to be the quarterback. I want to be the Reiki practitioner on the sidelines.
Oh, I love it. You literally have sent chills through me saying what you've just said. It is absolutely so true.
And I want to highlight too that chills, I'm so glad that you noticed that about your body, because that is one of the first ways you can start to sense when I feel alive, like when those blood cells and those, erector pili muscles all open up. Yeah. That's a sign that your body's really feeling alive. Oh. And that's a sign that you're alive.
Yay. Even though it's here, it's 6:23 a.m. in the morning. So I'm still having my coffee. But yeah, no, that was incredible. So everyone, I believe, has a zone of genius, and usually it's not just one. What would you say your zone of genius actually is?
I love emotions. I love diving into them. I love exploring why they're present in us. I can feel them for other people. And it's honestly a little sad that we've been taught to repress them so much. And starting to explore, how do we invite emotional health back into our lives? How do we start to recognize, when am I being driven by fear, and when am I being driven by anger, guilt, whatever, and when am I being driven by love, peace, joy, oneness, courage? Yeah. I love emotions. I love helping people tap into their own emotions, because the physical feeling of emotions, that's something that I can actually lead my clients through so that they can start to tap into their own feelings.
Yeah.
Not everybody has nausea as fear. It might be something else. But the feeling of joy for me is I can literally feel it in my heart space.
Yeah.
It's like an energetic feeling. It's hard to describe, but I wonder if we all really tapped into our feeling of joy. I wonder if that would be fairly common to feel your joy in your heart.
Yeah. I think we'll have to start tuning in a little bit closer. So let me just shift a little bit. Has there been a moment where you've worked with a client or you've witnessed someone's energy really transformed and changed then how they moved through the world?
Sure. That's what we do.
It's constantly, nonstop.
That's it. But in one particular, so I work with, most of my clients are over Zoom. And in one case, it was actually, I was doing a session with 3 of us and they didn't know each other. And during the session, one of their faces got younger.
Wow.
And I said, you just look like you got 10 years younger. And the other person in the session said, yeah, I see that. Like it was a physical shift in her face.
Yeah. Wow.
So that one was profound because there was someone to witness it. Yeah. But I would say in general, it's just a matter of stepping into your ambition again.
Yeah.
Because so often we know what we want, but something's holding us back and we don't know what is it that's holding me back, because I know what I want and I am a driven person. I have amazing willpower. How come I can't go get that thing?
Yeah.
And then just pointing it out, what is holding you back, so that you can see it and recognize it and kind of move through it.
Yeah, I love that.
To get what you want. Yeah.
So if there was one thing that you would want listeners to remember from this conversation, what would you say that should be?
Yeah. Go find what you like again.
Yes, definitely. I love that.
You might have lost it. Just go. And it's the easiest advice and the hardest advice at the same time.
Yeah.
So it might be just giving yourself 5 or 10 minutes every day, setting an alarm on your phone. And that 5 or 10 minutes is completely for you. So you might have to, the first week of it, the first month of it might be you laying on the floor and not doing anything for anybody.
That sounds great.
Yeah, exactly. But as you start to maybe even give yourself more than 5 or 10 minutes, but really dig into it, maybe you'll start to discover that you like looking at the trees and breathing in air. It doesn't have to start big. You don't have to be like, all right, I'm going to go find a hobby. Just start with the smallest bit of time, the smallest allowance of what would feel good right now.
Perfect. So I always end my interviews with my guests with 3 questions I don't know I'm going to ask them. So you're on the spot now. So question 1, what is perhaps a book or something you've listened to that has had a significant impact on your mindset or work lately?
Okay. This is an oldie but goodie, and we're using my intuition here. This is not the one that my brain would have thought to tell you, but it is clear. I'm supposed to tell you. Adult Children of Emotionally Immature Parents. It's a book. I'd have to look up the author, but it is amazing and life-changing.
Oh, wow. Okay, we'll have to have a look at that one. Number 2. Now, this one should be easy for you. Do you have a daily ritual or mindset practice that keeps you grounded? Given you're doing so much energy work, what is the one thing?
Thank you for asking. So my daily morning ritual is I wake up and I have a cup of coffee and I journal and I do an 8-minute meditation. I do 8 minutes because it is the one that doesn't feel too long and doesn't feel too short. It's like just right for me.
Yeah.
And I do a set of Eden Energy Medicine exercises. So those you can find them online, Eden Energy Medicine. And it's 7 exercises that you do every day to help maintain your body's energy systems.
Oh, Oh, I'm going to have to go look those ones up.
Yeah.
And then you wouldn't be on the Style and Strategy podcast unless I asked you, when it comes to your brand and your style, what is perhaps your go-to outfit or something that you know absolutely expresses who you are?
Oh gosh. That's the hardest question yet because I have changed so much. So that professional attire that I used to feel so at home in now doesn't really serve me in the way that it used to.
You're not
So I
wrong.
would have to say I'm in transition. I'm in transition and rediscovering an image that matches, an external image that matches my internal radiance.
Love that. Love that. Always here to chat, Jolee. Thank you very much for being on the podcast today. So, if anyone is curious about exploring things further or potentially even working with you internationally, tell me where is the best place to find you?
And so it's my website, joleemougey.com. And I have a tool on there that's fun to play around with. If you're curious to start exploring but not ready for a session yet, it's called the Sidekick, and it uses ChatGPT. And you can enter your questions in it. Like you could even say, what do I like to do? And it will lead you through some prompts to help you start rediscovering different ways to look at your life. Like you could even put in, why do I feel a lack of ambition at work? Why do I feel like I don't deserve this raise? Why do I get nervous when I'm in a meeting situation? And it's pretty fun. The results that it gets are really so surprisingly good.
I think everyone better go grab that. It's all the details for Jolee are gonna be in the show notes. So to our listeners, if this conversation triggered something for you, opened something new up for you, which I hope that it did, both Jolee and I, would love to hear what resonated. So please feel free to drop us a DM or email us and let us know. But thank you so much, Jolee, for coming and being on the podcast.
Thank you for having me. It was my absolute pleasure to be here.
You take care.